Tatpurushaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimahi Tanno danti prachodayatu.
You're doing okay.
Om Tatpurushaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimahi Tanno danti prachodayatu.
Right. I have to put my glasses on. I can't do this one by braille.
Tatpurushaya vidmahe
There we
Vakratundaya
go. Sorry, that was abrupt. Good morning. Welcome back for yoga. It is snowing in Portland. It's a wet, heavy snow, so it has that actually kappa quality because it's very wet. I went out this morning to make sure that the recycling and garbage and stuff is, set to the curb where it's supposed to be. It's a little bit like walking on soft sponges that are wet, soaked like that. It wasn't actively snowing when I went outside. It is now actively snowing on top of the snow that was already there. It's quite beautiful. So our transition from the Vata season to the Kapha season is including some Kapha-like snow. Let me just check the chat here. Oh, cool. Okay, snow in Eugene, also in Bend. Yeah. Well, those of you who are attending from the East Coast or from Florida, you might be having a different experience, of course. All of that being said, the yoga continues. Let me just set this aside. Yeah, so welcome back. We are in the week now of the next niyama. This one is called Svadhyaya, which means to study the self. And the self that we're referring to is not just the small self. It's not like just studying yourself, like nitpicking or, journaling rapidly to try to figure out what is wrong with you. We're studying the self, capital S, the large self, the divine self, the abiding present self, what some people refer to, and I've used this analogy myself, as the ocean self versus the wave self. If we can understand this indwelling self that we actually are, when we then look at the self, small s, the wave self, we can do so with a lot more wisdom and grace and compassion. So let's get underway. You can take a comfortable seat, please, in your own design, and rest your hands in your lap. Welcome to close your eyes if you prefer that, or have your gaze go down and forward and be kind of unfocused, not particularly analyzing anything. Your mind to sift through all the what I call pinwheels, all the myriad pinwheels of thought. Invite your mind to sift through that and to come into the central channel, the place where that thought is not intruding. Breathing up and down through this central channel. Imagine it becoming a little more spacious and a little more spacious. So we have this vertical plumb line, and rather than just sensing it as like a singular thread, allow it to become more broad, right to left, front to back, a little more circumferential. And I'd like you to imagine as you do that, that those myriad pinwheels of mental habit, that those move out. These are called vrittis. They stretch out and give you some space to be here for your practice. You picture this space that's being created by your intention and also by the yoga practice itself. When you sense that space, imagine embodying it, and it's beyond the skin of your physical form. Let's take the arms out to the side, turn your palms face up. And as you inhale, make a large circle of the arms, knowing that what you can stretch into with your physical form is only a small portion of who you are. And exhale, press out. Clasp your hands at the small of your back. Give a good strong squeeze of the shoulders. Roll them back. Stretch your arms back. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades once more. And then inhale, clasp the hands in front, take them up overhead. And exhale, return your hands down to your heart. Now the space that you could stretch into just there is limited to your physical dimension, but you're not limited to that. Okay, let's chant the Gayatri Mantra. Om virabhadrasana tatsavitorvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimāhi Dhiyo yona prachodayata Om Bhargavasya Tatsavitorvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimāhi Dhiyo yona prachodayata Om Bhargavasya Tatsavitorvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimāhi Dhiyo yona prachodayata Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Open your eyes. One of the things that we often speak about in the prison yoga programs, where adults in custody are practicing yoga also learning to be certified yoga teachers. We talk a lot about how none of us could really be summed up by even the worst thing that we've ever done, nor by the best thing that we've ever done. You know, that at a relative sense, those are the comings and goings that we are deeply responsible for if we've caused harm or atrocity of any kind. The indwelling wise self wants to tend to that towards repair or retribution of some kind, that we feel like we're giving some healing back to the worst thing that we have done. But when we talk about this in the prison setting, talking about you can't be summarized by the worst thing you've ever done, it's pretty mind-blowing for adults in custody, because they are told that they are their crime, even when they've committed that crime as a juvenile, which none of us here at our juvenile brain had complete wherewithal. So even if we look back at that time in our own lives, the neocortex wasn't really done developing. And none of our students want to have a pass or like an out on the guilt or regret that they feel. They are deeply committed to, the ones that I interact with in the prison system are deeply committed to understanding who they were, what happened, and what they can do towards the repair. They're also committed to understanding who they most deeply are, what they actually are. And then to helping other adults in custody also explore at the same level, to have that kind of depth of responsibility, and then the depth of knowing the deeper self even than that, and how they came to be someone who would commit a crime that was so severe that they had to be incarcerated. Some of them received very long-term sentences as juveniles. And for those of you keeping up on the, I'm sure you're keeping up on this, the criminal justice system in Oregon, we just had many adolescent perpetrators. Their crimes have been reviewed, and many of them are being released from their long-term, like, life sentence, because as a juvenile, who they were and the brain that they had and the systems that surrounded them, there was a great failure in supporting these now adults in custody. So as they're being released, they are practicing yoga here on the outside. And in some cases, they're also assisting the yoga teacher trainings. So none of us can be summarized by the worst thing we've ever done, nor even by like a medical diagnosis. We aren't the labels that come to this temporary form. And yet we have a responsibility. It might seem paradoxical, but we have a responsibility to be the best version of ourselves, even if that responsibility is just to role model that to others, to also raise up our community to keep being the best version of ourselves. I find that yoga practice is particularly helpful for that, because it makes the vrittis smaller. They're kind of sitting around the edge, you know, the mental pinwheels, and it makes that inner knowing larger or more accessible. So may that be our experience today in our practice. We can come to that. So as you're sitting, and you can place the hands out over the knees so that they're taut. As you're sitting, you are also not summarized by the greatest thing you've ever done, nor the worst thing you've ever done, nor your greatest accomplishment, nor your most painful physical symptom. You can't be summarized by those things. So let's breathe in, reach up through the heart and the collarbones. Open your throat. Extend the heart forward and upward. Lift your chin forward so the lower jaw goes forward beyond the upper jaw. And then exhale, curl down. Bring your chin to normal. Curl down like you're doing cat pose. And then broaden the back of the body like a parachute. And then inhale, raise up again. Exhale, curl down. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, curl down. And now briskly. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, go up. Exhale, release to your upright posture. You may sit physically very still, even though energetically there's movement inside. Bring the right hand up and please close the right nostril and 30 rapid exhales through the left nostril. And then we'll switch to the right and we'll do 30 again. Then we'll go 10 and 10. I'm sorry, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10, 5, 5, 1, 1, 1, 1. Exhale. Inhale to suspend. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale left, up to suspension. Close the left, exhale right. right up to suspension. Exhale left. Your life. Start kneeling in Vadrasana. Some of you may prefer to kneel with a blanket between your hips and heels, or kneel sitting on a block. You can make the choice. Place your hands up on your shoulders. We're going left, right, left, right. It's a little bit brisk. Five, four, three, two, one. Come to center. Inhale up to suspension. Release in your own timing. Those are cleansing or energizing practices, meaning they move energy, and sometimes they're moving stagnant energy. So energy that's been trapped by thoughts, actually. Thoughts that lead to actions and behaviors like sitting too long, scrolling, or thoughts that lead to certain foods or certain other substances or activities. Then there's this stagnation that we're kind of cleansing that, releasing that from the body and also from the mind. Now we're going to take a practice where you go inhale first third, middle third, upper third of the breath, and then we'll exhale to come down. And we're going to go up to the high knees as we do it. So it'll be inhale first third, middle third, upper third. We're not going to be interrupting the breath right now. Sometimes that practice is done as inhale 1/3, pause, inhale next third, pause, inhale, upper third, pause. And we want to build towards that capacity. But right now I'm going to ask you just to sense that you're pacing it into those thirds. And at the upper third of the breath, you're really lifting the breath under the collarbones and the sternum. When we come down, you're going to be taking the arms down and coming towards child's pose. And for some of you, it'll be helpful to have a block for your head to rest on. Okay, so let's begin. Inhale, first third, middle, upper. Exhale, squeeze the breath out, come down to child's pose. Rest one hand in the lap of the other. Inhale again, first third, middle, upper. Exhale. Imagine the space that you're requesting from you and your thoughts. They can stay at the distance. Focus entirely on inhale, first third, middle, and upper. And exhale, squeeze the breath out. Twice more. Finish in child's pose. Excuse me. Bring that back up to center, and as you come to kneeling, come to Vadrasana. Just sense again. There's an indwelling self, this sort of central channel, and has not been invaded by thoughts. It's not cluttered by mental activity. Your high knees, please. That's what I call the high knees, means that you're kneeling up, not down. And step your right foot out to the side. We covered this maybe a week or two ago, I can't remember now. But when you step your foot out to the side like this, I do want your leg to go in this direction kind of straight, and the knee is also pointing this away. And that means that with the back leg, for some of you, it's really helpful to just pivot the shin a little bit so that your hips agree to the position of your right leg. If you try to keep the back shin straight back and the hips like this, you're going to likely end up, the socket and the leg bone or titanium are going to run into each other. So give yourself the position you need for that to be stable. Okay, and then inhale. Let's do first third, middle third, upper third. And exhale, side bend to your right. And then inhale, raise up. Also raise your right arm. And exhale, come down like you're coming into child's pose. Let's take the toes of the right foot and point them up towards the ceiling. It's easier for the ankle. And then inhale, raise up, put your right toes flat. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, raise up, first third, middle third, upper third of the breath. And exhale, sit your hips back and come down, point the toes up. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, side bend. Okay, last time. So inhale, raise up. First third, middle third, upper third of the breath. And exhale, take your hips back, point the right toes up. This time we're going to stay in the side bend. So inhale, rise up. And exhale, side bend. Now, as you press firmly into your left shin and your left thigh, squeeze the left butt muscles and tone the outer left hip as well. So your left hip is a source of stability right now. And the C curve is really in the torso. It's not that we're shifting the hips to the left. Tone the left low belly and use your exhale to come up. So right from here. And then release the left arm down. Step the right leg in and the left leg out. So for some of you, I know when you put your foot out like this, your toes don't reach the floor there. And it would be okay to put something under your toes, like a folded blanket, a rolled yoga mat, something that gives your toes a place of contact if you need it. Okay, inhale. First, middle, upper. And then exhale, side bend. Inhale, raise back up. Good, now exhale, take the hips back, point the toes of the left foot up, come down to child's pose. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, side bend. Good. Inhale, rise up. First third, middle third, the upper third of the breath. Exhale. Again, please. You rise up with your inhale, focus on all thirds of the breath. Upper third might be the most difficult. Exhale, squeeze the breath out. One more time to come down to child's pose. Next side bend we're going to stay in for several breath cycles. So tone the muscles of your left leg, but also press down through your right shin. Keep your right outer hip and your right butt also toned. You can check it with your left fingers. The right hip should stay forward in the same plane as your thigh or your knee. So don't drop the pelvis backwards. It's kind of like an escape hatch. Okay, with your next exhale, tone the right low belly and raise up. And then step the left knee in and come back down to Vadrasana. And glimpse the inner goodness that is happening for you. Let's take the hands forward on your yoga mat and come into downward dog pose. Start with your feet so they're hip distance apart, please. With the feet hip width apart, look back at your feet and gaze between the heels. So there's a place, excuse me, for your eyes to be restful. And then deeply bend one knee. You can choose. Straighten that leg and deeply bend the other knee. Straighten that leg as well. Now looking back at 2 parallel feet, keep your feet relatively parallel. Come up to your tippy toes. Pivot your heels to the left and lower them down on the left side of your mat. And then inhale, tippy toe, bring the heels to center. Exhale, pivot them to the right, lower them down to the right side of your mat. Inhale, tippy toe. Exhale to your left. Inhale, tippy toe. And exhale to your right. Inhale back to center, and now take your feet as wide as a standard yoga mat. Make them parallel to start. So as you reach back with your feet and your heels, energize your arms. And then deeply bend one knee. You can drop your hips a little bit to the side. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, deeply bend the other knee. Inhale to straighten. Okay, now let's come high up on the tiptoes and then pivot both heels to your left. Keep reaching back with the hips so you feel the right side waist perhaps and maybe the outer right thigh. And then inhale up to your tippy toes and exhale, pivot over to your left. I'm sorry, to your right. Inhale to center. Exhale left. Inhale center. And exhale right. And then inhale to center. And start walking your hands back now towards your feet. So you can go hand, 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 hand back towards the feet until you're standing with your feet as wide as the mat in Uttanasana. Energize your legs and stabilize from your hips to your heels and your toes. Shift your hands to your hips, please, and let's rise up to standing. Breathing in, come on up. Take a stance that's as wide as parsvottanasana. Inhale, first third, middle third, upper third of the breath. Exhale, fold forward, rest one hand on the lap of the other, squeeze the torso and the breath using your belly muscles. Inhale, first third, rising up, middle third, upper third. Exhale, forward and down, squeezing the abdomen as you come down. Keep the legs stable as well. Inhale, raise up. This time when you come up high, pause here and pivot both feet to your right. Rotate your hips to face towards your right foot. And exhale, come forward. And inhale, raise up, first third, middle third, upper third of the breath. Pivot to center, pivot to your left. Inhale, little back bend. Nice job. Okay, exhale, come forward. Squeeze the breath out. Inhale, raise up, first third, middle third, upper third. Exhale, pivot. Okay, inhale, stretch up, little back bend. Exhale, coming down first, squeezing the belly. The hands can rest on the small of the back. And then last time, inhale, raise up, first third, middle third, upper third. And pivot second side last time. Little back bend. And exhale. I'll return to center and step your feet in to mountain pose. And let's picture the space you've been occupying, even that space, you're not limited to that. Your presence, your personhood. Defined by the shape of the body or by our appearance, nor by the worst thing or the best thing we've ever done. It can't be defined by the things that have happened to us, or like you're a person with a metal hip, therefore you're called metal hip somehow. We know this at some level, and yet we also don't live knowing it. To the front of your yoga mat for a little surya namaskar. I just want to tie my hair off of my face, otherwise it's distracting. One of my brain injury symptoms is that if I have too much stimulation on my face, it's distracting, like glasses and hair and sunlight and something else. Join your hands at your heart, please. And the Ujjayi breath. And let's imagine that carves out this internal space, the central channel. The physical body is reaching into space, kind of carving out that energetic space. And yet we know that we are not limited to this geographical capacity. So as you next inhale, sweep the hands up like an arrow. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, left foot back for virabhadrasana 1. Inhale to rise. Hook your thumbs, so one thumb behind the other, you can decide. And as you raise up, lift up and make a little back bend in the heart. So that's coming from yesterday's practice as well. The back bend is in the upper back, so don't compromise your lower back. Your next inhale, press into your right foot, straighten your right leg slowly. And then exhale, sweep over, keep the right leg steady and strong as you bow forward without the hands. And then inhale, raise back up. Hook your thumbs and deeply bend your right knee, virabhadrasana 1. Breathe in, lift the torso up out of the pelvis. And exhale, come over your front leg, touch both blocks or the floor, and inhale backwards to downward dog pose. Exhale forward to plank. Inhale to seal. Exhale, cobra. Exhale, seal pose. Plank. Downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward. Pivot the right heel for virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, rise up. Hook the other thumb behind. And as you raise up again, the back bend is at the heart. Your next inhale, straighten your left leg and keep the back bend in the heart. So even straightening your leg, you might sense the right hip flexors a little bit more or a little bit less, but the upper back stays open. And then exhale, arms wide, come over your front leg. Without the hands, you need the strength of the left leg. And then inhale, raise back up. Hook your thumbs, exhale, bend the left knee, virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, arms wide, come down to touch the 2 blocks. Inhale, step to dog pose. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, cobra, bhujangasana. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. And exhale, step forward, uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, upward hands pose. And hands to the heart, Anjali Mudra. Again, inhale, raise up. So you're requesting space for your mind, for your process, for your body. You've already dedicated the space to be here for your practice. Inhale, glide the heart forward. Exhale, left foot back. So again, request the space for your mind, for your psyche, for your practice. Hook the thumbs. Back bend in the heart, squeeze the left butt and the outer hip. So you're going up through the torso. And then straighten the right leg. As you straighten, keep reaching up. Feel into your back bend. And then exhale, bow forward, arms wide, come over the right leg. Requires a certain amount of strength in the right outer hip. It is a balanced practice right now. And then raise up again. That requires a certain strength in your right leg. Return to your back bend here. And then bend your right knee to warrior 1. And sweep the arms wide. Anytime you have a new approach to a familiar yoga pose, let's step back to dog pose. You have this opportunity for the looking glass, the looking glass of your yoga practice. So exhale forward to plank. Inhale to seal pose. Exhale, cobra. Inhale, seal. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. And exhale, left foot forward. Pivot the right heel for warrior 1. Inhale, glide up. Hook the other thumb in the back. Here's your looking glass opportunity. For those of you who don't normally look up in this pose, that's already a change for your balance. Then consider the upper back and the heart as the back bend. You straighten your front leg. Tone the right butt, the left outer hip. And then exhale, sweep the arms wide. And when you come forward and down here, you have to come just as far as you have the strength for. And then inhale, raise that back up, honoring your strength and your balance. Hook your thumb. Then return to warrior one. And then exhale, sweep the arms wide. Inhale backwards, dog pose. And then exhale to plank. Inhale to upward facing dog pose. Exhale, cobra. Inhale, upward dog pose. Urdva mukha, svanasana. Exhale, plank. Downward dog. And child's pose. Let's rest the forehead on the floor in child pose or on a block, and the hands at the small of the back. Now notice in your child's pose how you become very small, like you have less physical expansion. You're the suitcase version of yourself. So you're curled up. And there is a lovely feeling of taking refuge inside, coming into a sense of indwelling self in child's pose. Notice in child's pose some of the qualities from yesterday, like self-acceptance, self-appreciation, self-compassion, self-kindness, up to Vadrasana, please. Consider self-encouragement, self-confidence, self-acknowledgement, like acknowledging what you've already done and showing up for your yoga practice today. Take your two blankets to sit on once again. I'd like you also to have a yoga strap. And I'm going to show at like a diagonal because a couple people were confused yesterday. So if you have the yoga strap, make a large loop in the strap. So the loop is large enough that you're going to put it around your ankle, your thigh, and then it's available across the lower back. So if I put this, let me say, let's call this my left side. Put your strap around your left side. So you have this much strap, you're playing with how much you're going to need. You'll snug that at some level because when you wrap the right arm, this will be my right arm for right now. When you wrap it around, I want you to be able to bind with the strap. You're going to be binding your hand and your wrist in the strap. And that means that you have to make a little extra effort to pull the right shoulder back for the twist. It's also going to give you extra leverage and a bit of compression. So the release of the pose, we should have this beautiful cleansing experience down the right arm. So let's take the right arm around. The strap is on the left leg, and it goes around your left ankle, the top of your thigh around, and you have whatever space you need back there for the right hand to slip into the strap. And then draw the right shoulder back and cross your left hand to your right thigh. Use your leverage wisely. The leverage that the strap is giving you, use that wisely. As you rotate to your right, look over your right shoulder. You keep drawing the right shoulder back so the right shoulder blade is mobilized. It moves in towards the spine and down your upper back. And then as you exhale, release and rest both hands out over your knees and really notice the release from the heart down the right arm. Please change the strap to the other side. You can also switch the ankles. So I kind of like it to have the outside foot be the one that the strap is going around. And it's also the same thigh. So right now, my right foot, my pretend right foot, is in front. It's actually my left foot, but for you, it's my right foot. Wrap the left arm around behind, bring it into the loop, into the strap. You've got extra leverage here now, so draw the left shoulder back as you secure your left wrist in the strap. Walk the right hand across to the outside of your knee. Over the left shoulder, even with the eyes closed. Again, keep requesting from those vrittis, the myriad pinwheels of the mind, that they give you the space to be here on your mat right now. So you're not lost in thought. You can really examine, be with, dedicate your mind to the practice. And exhale, rotate around to face forward. And when you rest your hands in your lap, pay particular attention to the circulation going down the left arm. Now we'll take these 2 blankets and the 2 blocks. And I'm going to suggest that you use your yoga strap. I'll show you how to do that today for this particular pose. So let's take the 2 blankets and go lengthwise down the mat, right? So it's like a little bolster right there. You sense that. Yeah. 1 block's going to be for the head. 1 block is going to be here for the feet. So if you put this block so that you're on the medium setting, and you take the strap, it's going to place your feet so they're about hip distance apart, and also the feet can't toe out. They can't turn out because the strap is holding them. When you first lie back on the blanket, Then pick up the top blanket to put this block flat between the two blankets. So it's like a block sandwich. And put that block right up to the base of the skull. So what you have then is the heart is the most open, but your head is a little higher than your heart. The throat's a little bit closed, a little bit inward. Turn your palms face up. You may close your eyes. You could put your eye pillow on if you like. But let's imagine that we're kind of gazing down towards the heart, at least inwardly. And the heart deeply knows you cannot be summarized by the worst nor the best thing you've ever done, nor by a health condition or a physical or mental quote unquote diagnosis. You cannot be summarized by these things. Svadhyaya is a practice of self-inquiry. Vadrasana is the second chakra, the home of the self. So as you gaze towards your heart, imagine this like skipping stones. You gaze to the heart, and the heart sends energy to the second chakra. So from the sixth chakra to the fourth to the second. You're gazing from the sixth to the fourth. You're gazing from the divine self towards the heart, from the heart to the second chakra, to know the indwelling self. Allow yourself to deeply relax. You already know that you are not your fingernails. You are not your hairstyle. You are not your thoughts, nor your emotions. Rest into that which you most deeply are. Rest again a few degrees more deeply, not only the physical body, but also the mind. Begin to wiggle the toes. When you wiggle the toes, it's kind of the furthest point from the top of the head. loosen your feet from your yoga strap. And then take the feet out like a snow angel. Wiggle the fingers and take the arms out like a snow angel. And then raise the arms overhead alongside your ears. Bend the knees. Roll to one side. Rise up to sitting. Colette is finding his new place here on the mat. When he's on the carpet, he blends into the white and you can't see him. Hi, honey. I'll just scooch over a little bit more, okay? I'll just take this spot, all right? Yeah. You can definitely be here. You can even purr. You can snore. You can play quietly. Do what you want. Okay, please rest your hands in your lap and see if you can reconnect again to this. There is a central channel that we feel that divine presence inside, that we know it's not limited to that inner channel. It's also this expanse. That's where you arrive from in your meditation here as your practice has culminated in this short sitting period. Pinwheels of the mind be at an appropriate and viewable distance, and may they not be spinning. Raise your hands to your heart. Thank you all for being here. Namaste. Thank you very much. I will just close our recording so we can be together.